Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saranalalita Shri Vishakamitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome all for today's Bhagavad class. So, we are in chapter number 7 of Bhagavad Gita, and we saw how Krishna explains about himself and how his sweetness and greatness is revealed in these verses, and then how there is a rarity of these verses, or rarity of this knowledge of Vigyan of Krishna. And then he gives his how we can know him by his energies, the material energies, and then further the spiritual energies, the Prakriti and Jiva. And then he says that he's the maintainer of everything. And then how he's all pervading, how he's taste of water, then he's the light of sun. And in this way, he describes in so many verses. And then we saw how he's beyond the modes also. There are three modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. So he creates all these modes, but he is not under the modes, he's above the modes. So we saw this, and today we are just going to see the four type of dushkritanas or impious people who do not surrender to Lord. So let us recite this verse. Namam dushkritino mura prapadyante naradhama maya aparita jnana asuram bhavamashita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender to me. So there are four categories. First is grossly foolish. So these are like mudas, or they work very hard for sense pleasure, but they will not do anything for Krishna. Second is naradhama, or lowest among mankind. So these people have a chance to develop a relationship, but they give a bhakti. So this person are the, out of these four also, these are the, so the, I can say, the most miserable person, or the person who come to bhakti, but they have a chance, but they give up after practicing some time. So they are the bad of all, because others, they are foolish, they don't know only about bhakti, but here they have knowledge, but because of some problems they leave bhakti. And then third is maya aparita jnana, that is whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. That is, they are like scientists, philosophers, and all. They know, they have studied the scriptures, but they think that God is a human, ordinary human or something, and then they don't believe in Lord. So they bring Lord into normal being. And the fourth and the last is Ashram Bhava Ashita. So these are like atheists, enemies of God, atheist nature. So they outrightly say that we don't believe in God. So these are the four type of people who don't believe in God. So let us see the purport. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises how it is that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of the ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all powerful personality of Godhead. Mukti or liberation from the laws of material nature is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with great plans and perseverance for a great many years of and births. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method? So the question is asked that if we surrender to Krishna, then we can overcome this material world. We can pass on this material world. We can go to spiritual world. Then why do so many people, and they are not like they are educators, they are scientists, businessmen, they do not surrender to Lord, and they find out different means and ways to overcome this and want to just go to Lord, but they don't take the direct path. Like we see sometimes the government, what they do is on one side they give freedom, take intoxications, and other side they build hospitals and they advertise that intoxication is bad, it may create cancer and all. So why don't government directly ban this? Why these things have to be done that first you allow people, they allow company to sell this, then you have these hospitals to then rectify these problems and all. So uh, this is a question which is asked every time. So here also this question is asked, why they do it? Why they don't surrender? So the Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali, later on Madhvacharya, Ramanujarya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others who are faithful followers, philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. So there is differentiation, one who are actually learned and others who pose themselves as learned but actually are not learned. So they don't surrender themselves. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheist and baffle the knowledge of planning commission. So if one is not devoted to the Lord, one is not a devotee of Lord, and he tries n number of ways that will solve this problem, and that problem, this will never happen. Every problem solved will create another 2, 3 problems. And therefore, till the time one is not spiritually inclined, one is not connected to the Lord, there is no chance that one can solve even the material problems in life. No chance. Most of the problems in life, in material life, are unsolvable. We have to just tolerate it, that's all. Like this Mumbai highway, we are saying that there are so many potholes. So instead of Dama road, they made RC cement road. But now, again, we see there are a lot of many potholes in the first and only it got damaged. So the solution created a new problem now. And the second problem which is created is that the vehicles lose their control because on Dama road they have control, but on the RCC road now, vehicles shake a bit and they don't have much control also. So the accidents have increased and so many things have happened. So the main thing why it was started was to solve a problem that every year there are so many potholes on the road. So let us solve that, but it has created a different problem. Similarly, whatever we solve any problem, now it will create different problems. So they are not solvable actually. The atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word duskritna or miscreants. Kriti means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent, meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheistic brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Duskruti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. So these are plan makers who do some meritorious work, but still they are not good at it because they are opposing the plan of the Lord, and therefore they are called Duskriti. So intelligence is given by Lord, but when it is used against the Lord, then there is a problem. So intelligence is given by Lord to use the same to come back to him. That is the best use of intelligence. But when it is not done, then there are problems. In the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under direction of Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It works as a shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. Under religion and the modes of passion ignorance, all his plans are baffled, as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Duskrinas or miscreants are of four different patterns as outlined below. This is a very good example given of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. See, let us understand these examples. See, these two people were top. They were like the chief. Like there is no election like 5 years, nothing. And they were the rulers of the whole world. It was not that you can rule just one or two countries or something. No, they are rulers of the whole world. Even Devatas were under their control. But still, they could not succeed. And the plan making which they had, the type of army which they had, the type of resources which they had, the type of knowledge which they had, the Ashta Siddhis, nowadays nobody has also. To become small than the smallest, to become bigger than biggest, to fly in the sky and to produce weapons anytime, and to be like they had immense power, and they were very powerful. Still they failed. So today's modern people who doesn't have that type of caliber, that type of intelligence, that type of strong siddhis also, so how can we think that they will be successful? They will never be successful. And therefore, we should understand that whatever plan people make will always be baffled. They will never be successful. And therefore, if we want to really plan, we should plan how to go back to God. That should be our planning. So first, the Mudas are those who are grossly foolish, like hardworking beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves, and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. This humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but this braying sound only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruitative worker who does not know for whom he should work. He does not know that karma action is meant for yajna or sacrifice. Most often, those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear of the immortality of the living being. To such mudas, material gains which are indestructible are lives all in all, despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very little small, very small fraction of the fruit of labor. Sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruitive gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusory mammon. Unfortunately, illusory master, sorry. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they accept sweetmeats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, the foolish worker will entirely continue to hear of the sense enjoyable tidings of how the flickering mundane world, but will they have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world? So these are people who say that work is worship, काम ही सब कुछ है, and they work day and night. And why they are working, whom they are working, that they will not know. So they'll work day and night, like and for some little remuneration. They don't get much also, but still they work a lot, and they will say everybody that like they will stay late in the night in the office and go early in the way. No much social life, not much family life also, and spiritual life is very zero. So such kind of people will never surrender to Lord because their conception is very wrong. So another class of Duskritina or miscreant is called the Naradhama or the lowest of mankind. Nara means human being and Adhama means the lowest. Out of 84 lakhs different species of living beings, there are 4 lakh human species. So it's very important to note that there are 4 lakh species of 84 lakh. So these human species are there, like there are some are demigods, some are in our earthly planets, and some are down also. So how these species in human beings are differentiated by the consciousness, the chetna. So different consciousnesses of people depict that they are of different uh, levels. So this way we can see that. So out of this, there are innumerable lower forms of human life. They are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regular principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed, but who have no religious principles, must be considered Nara Adhamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relationship with him. In the Gita, the personality of God clearly states that there is no authority above him and that he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as Nara Adhama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb in extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God for deliverance and promises to worship him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to God when he is in difficulties is natural instinct in every living being because he's eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusion energy. So this comes in Bhagavatam, where the child is in the womb and is suffering because the mother eats something and he gets some gases and there are some germs biting around him. And like this, he's suffering the womb. And that time he prays to Lord that, oh Lord, this is a dark well. Please bring me out. And as soon as I come out, I will definitely pray to you. I will worship you. I will chant your names and all. But as soon as he comes out, he forgets the problems which he was facing inside. And then again, he gets entangled in the material life, and therefore he's again this cycle. So the duty of the guardians of children to revive the dormant Krishna consciousness in them. The 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies are enjoined in the Manu Smriti, which is the guide to religious principle, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashrama. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world, and therefore 99.9% of population is Nara Adhama. So they are called samskaras, reformed ceremonies like Garbhadan samskara, Jat Karma samskara, then marriage samskara, then there are so many like different samskaras which are there for human beings, which are to be followed, but nobody does, and therefore most of people are actually Naradamas. When the whole population becomes Naradama, naturally all their so-called education is made null and void. So whatever education we get, if it is not utilized for service of Supreme Lord, it is of no use actually. But the all powerful of energy of physical nature. According to the standard of Gita, a learned man is he who sees on equal terms the learned Brahmana, dog, cow, elephant, and dog eater. That is the version of a true devotee. Sri Nityan Prabhu, who is the incarnation of Godhead as Divine Master, delivered the typical Nara Adhamas, the fathers Jagai and Madhai, and showed how the mercy of real devotee is bestowed upon the lowest of mankind. So the Nara Adhama is who is condemned by the personality of Godhead can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee. So, very important thing, if somebody gets bhakti, it is only by the mercy of devotee. Similarly, if bhakti is lost by any aparad or some problems, because one of the major problem is if somebody does aparad, then temporarily the bhakti is gone. And if the aparad is mahad aparad, then it may go permanently also. So one should be very careful not to offend anybody. Any devotee should not be offended. Maybe he's a devotee of Rama, maybe he's a devotee of Krishna. Any devotee, he should not never be offended. So we should respect him. If we don't agree to his conclusions, we don't agree to what he's saying, we can just give him Vaishnava respect and be away from that person. But we should never disrespect them. We should never blaspheme them. We should never tell that, oh, you are this. No, never. He is doing bhakti according to his conclusion, his knowledge, what he has, and we are doing according to what we have. So if we respect each other, then we will all grow. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the propagating the Bhagavad Dharma or activities of the devotees, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of the personality of Godhead. The essence of this message is Bhagavad Gita. The lowest among human beings can be delivered by this submissive hearing process only. But unfortunately, they even refuse to give an oral reception to these messages, and what to speak of surrendering to the will of Supreme Lord. Nara Adhamas, or the lowest of mankind, willfully neglect the prime duty of the human being. So the most important thing which a devotee has to do is hear regularly all the classes of big good saints or whatever we are following. So it is not the time. Even after 20, 30 years, if we stop hearing, again we will come down. So the hearing has to go on with years. With more years are gone, we should hear more, or hearing or reading, whatever it is the case, but it should go on. Otherwise, there'll be a problem. The next class of Duskruti is called Maya Aparita Jnana, or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusory material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literary scientists, etc. But the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. So we have seen so many people who read Bhagavad Gita. There was one person who said, I have read Gita at least 15, 20 times. And then he was asked, then why are you smoking? He said, I have read for knowledge, not for following. So that I can also tell others that I have read Bhagavad Gita. If there are some circles, I also have the opportunity to speak. It is not that it has to be followed. No. So this type of people are of no use, because if you don't follow, then what is the use of learning? So nowadays, because of internet explosion, what is happening is lot of people are taking lot of knowledge from here, there, and but knowledge can do nothing if it is not utilized. Just by having lot of knowledge, what is the use? Even the laptops have so much knowledge. Is it of any use? No use. If we use it for some purpose, it is useful. Otherwise, no use. So the knowledge has to be utilized somewhere. There are a great number of Maya Prita Jnana at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that the Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is said, he is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma, but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma, the super soul in every entity in his plenary portion. He is the fountain of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto the lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Maya Prita Jnana derived the personality of Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord. So such people have knowledge, but they don't believe in Lord, and therefore they compare Lord as normal human being, and therefore they do not worship him. All the unauthorized interpretation of the Gita by the class of Maya Pradhyana outside the purview of Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding. The deliberate interpreters do not surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow these principles. So these are like they write Bhagavad Gita, and nowadays there are plenty of Bhagavad Gita is written like this. So they do not surrender to Krishna, they don't consider Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead, and nor they to teach this principle to others. Like some will say this Krishna is like light. Some will say that some side inside is speaking out from Krishna. It's not Krishna speaking. Somebody inside is speaking, and somebody will say Krishna said to surrender to Guru, to myself. Krishna said to surrender to me. So please surrender to me, not to Krishna. So somebody will say like this. Like this, there are so many interpretations which are going out and which are not proper, and therefore such people should not be followed. The last class of Dushkruti is called Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reason as to why not. So there are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his pain. Such person whose very principle of life is to degrade the personality of Godhead cannot surrender to lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So these are like demons people. They will not surrender to Krishna, but they will manufacture their own different incarnations. So they are like atheist people. They will say that we don't believe in God. But then they'll worship some person or something. Sri Yamunacharya Albandaru of South India said, "O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with atheistic principles. Despite your uncommon qualities, features, and activities, despite your personality being confirmed by all revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in godly qualities. Therefore, grossly foolish person, the lowest of mankind, the deluded speculators, and the professed atheists, as above mentioned, never surrendered unto the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, in spite of all scripture and authoritative advice." So instead of all these things, these four people will never surrender to Lord. So these are the things. And verse number 16, four people are there who will always surrender to Lord. So let us see this verse also. चतुर्विधा भजन्ते माम जना सुकृतिनो अर्जुना आर्थो जिज्ञासु अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर सभा. O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men began to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. So these are four kind of people who are surrendered to Lord. So these are like artha, they are distressed, like they're in problem. So when we have problem, we can go to different person. But why they are glorious? Because they go to Krishna. They say that I want to go to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is saying they are glorious. Then second is artharthi. Artharthi means one who's wanting wealth. So these are special type of difference who wants wealth. Then third is the jigyasu or the inquisitive. They want to know things, that how is this, how it is this, and what is this. So they are inquisitive people. And fourth is who is searching after the absolute. So they are jnani people who want to know who is Krishna or who is God or something. They have some question. So these are the four types of people who surrender to Lord. Purport. Unlike the miscreants, these are adherents of the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures, the moral and social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these four classes of men, those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth, this person comes to a Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu defines pure devotional. So these four people, why they are considered Udaradi? Because they are actually gone to Supreme Personality of God for their needs. They could have gone anywhere else, but because they have gone to Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are called Udaradi. But they are not pure devotees, because pure devotees are one who will not want anything from Lord. They will just do bhakti, and whatever Krishna gives, they will be happy in that. So what is the definition? Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anamritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities of philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. So one should render transcendental loving service. So it should be with love, and there should be some service to Supreme Lord, and it should be favorable. So Kamsa or Ravana also served the Lord, but it was unfavorable because they are hating Lord. They are also serving because they were always taking the Lord's name, but it was not in favorable and without desire for material profit or gain, that I want this or this. No, there is nothing should be there. And philosophical speculation, then it is called pure devotional service. If there is some motive that I want this or this, or if there is some speculation, it means like this or this, then it is not pure devotional service. When this four kinds of person come to Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. So when they come, they have a different motive, they have different desire. But what happens is, because of the association of pure devotees, their desires also get purified, and then they ask for pure devotional service. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with the pure deity, also become pure devotees. So this four kind of miscreants also can become devotees. There is nothing bar that they will never become devotee. The only thing which is required is association of pure devotees. As soon as one has association of pure devotees, they can become again devotee. So those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at the same time associate with pure devotees, become in that distress devotees of Lord. Those who are simply frustrated and also come sometimes to associate with the pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service, and thus transcendental knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma, and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they are fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental services of the Lord are trained with fruitive activities, the search for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to a stage of pure devotional service. So we have seen these four kind of people. They surrender to Lord. So it is only a starting point actually. It is just a starting point that they to come to, and when they have association of pure devotees in the Lord, they gradually get purified, and then they also become pure devotees, and they can also go back to God. So it is not by what motive are we starting devotional service. It is are our motives gradually changing when we start devotional service? Are we going in the right direction? That after some time we don't want anything, no janam, no nothing, not even we are asking that please relieve from this distress, that distress. Whatever Krishna gives, we are thankful to them and we want to practice devotion service. So gradually this will happen. So thank you very much. Hari Krishna.